In spite of virtual reality aiming to create a digital, more streamlined version of the real world, it has often fallen short on these promises with a lack of competent software. VR, however, is more than the sum of its parts. It isn't just gaming, work, or entertainment, but it's actually a virtual reality. It often takes an experience in the real world that wouldn't be possible and then makes it possible. Again, this extends far beyond the reach of just gaming or just entertainment or just work. Now, it's taken 6 years, but we're finally seeing the first emergence of mainstream VR with the Meta Quest 2. And yet very few apps have encapsulated the very essence of a virtual reality into a capable experience. And even fewer have seen the constant onslaught of updates and improvements that Bigscreen VR has. Bigscreen is easily the most adept and masterfully executed virtual theater ever. The core of Bigscreen, at least in my mind, revolves around 4 major components. Yeah, so it might not be the most glamorous feature, but it is beyond essential. This caters to a simpler, more mainstream audience. It is exceptionally easy to just rent a movie for $5 and start watching, and even simpler to click onto a free TV channel room. This is honestly just a great feature that would make the application feel incomplete without it, though it has plenty of faults. First off, if you want to watch a movie with friends, everyone has to rent the same movie, and that's very annoying to say the least, but it's understandable. The problem is that Bigscreen offers up to 15 people in one theater, and there's no way 15 people should all have to buy the same digital movie for $5, or have 14 people get a $5 movie for free. Rather, I suggest offering a group ticket, in terms of pricing maybe like $15 or something, at least so people have that option. Also, the inability to buy movies stings. It stings hard. We live in a digital age, and only being able to rent movies is pretty stupid. How about like $10 for a buy? And most notably, the selection is staler than something really stale. They have plenty of classics, but I'm sick of rewatching Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade over and over. Again, though, the variety isn't bad. They have a ton of hits and some smaller gems as well. The anime section isn't half bad, I guess, but still. Movies don't come out every 5 years. You need to constantly update it. When I look at Bigscreen, I see a platform for movies and television in the same vein as Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV. And they should lean into that. With TV channels, this is a lot easier to forgive, given that, they're free. But, always improvements are nice, including a wider variety. Now, all this is a lot easier to swallow when the movies look this good. I've tried Bigscreen on the Rift, Go, Quest 1, and Quest 2. Quest 2 is incomparable. In terms of resolution and specs, it may not be light years ahead, but it has crossed a threshold of real usability. I mean, a case could honestly be argued for me to never use my TV again, when the gigantic 60-foot screen in front of me is remarkably clear. Now, what first blew me away was the clarity of Your Name, a very popular and very good animated film. And what I came to notice was that the anime in Bigscreen looks phenomenal. Seriously, it does. Live-action films still look great, don't get me wrong, but there was a certain wow factor when I saw the trailer for Your Name. When I watched it in VR, it felt different than any other animated content I had watched previously on a couch or computer chair. Looking back on it, I don't see the black borders of the headset or the pixels of the screen, but I see myself actually inside a virtual movie theater watching a masterpiece of a film. With better lighting, by the way, than anything I could find on a projected movie screen. It's truly amazing. So this feature allows you to connect a PC to your headset by connecting to the same Wi-Fi network and signing in under the same account. They've recently done a massive overhaul of this landmark capability by improving visual quality, frame rate, audio, and how you even connect to the computer. Bigscreen actually initially launched exclusively with this ability, and it's very interesting to see how it's evolved. In its current state, the feature's great. It remedies my main complaint about the lack of rentable movies by allowing you to watch all the movies already owned online. It's a bit of a backdoor solution, but God, is it cheaper and more consumer-friendly. However, you're really only able to watch YouTube and other publicly made video services like Vimeo, or, whatever. This is because Google Chrome and Bing thinks you're pirating the content and then redistributing it, which, you could do if you connected 14 other people who don't own the service, but it's basically the same as watching Netflix or a movie at a friend's place when you don't actually own that service or movie yourself. However, you can do this through Firefox, which is apparently still a thing. You can watch Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, etc. I've tested it and it works flawlessly. The quality in the remote connections feature is good, to really good, depending on your own circumstance. For me, it was just slightly worse than watching a rented movie, but still pretty amazing all things considered. Actually though, this feature is designed for a lot more than just watching movies. You can also use it to play games, stream your game to friends, or even as a full-fledged working application. The frame rate wasn't quite there for playing games, but that's just me and my setup. Now the ability to work in VR is a very interesting notion. Virtual Desktop does it exceptionally well, but lacks the multiplayer capabilities and wealth of customization that Bigscreen does. It worked really well for managing my desktop and checking up on things. Many would argue that the ability to view your computer in VR is the main meat and potatoes of Bigscreen, and to an extent I agree with them. But the app is definitely more than that, and when you look at this whole package, it's truly extraordinary. But what ties it all together is the breadth of social and customizability options. 15 people in a single virtual theater is absurd. They also utilize their own intuitive avatar system that, while isn't as good as Meta's, it still conveys expression and a sense of awareness very well. While watching a movie, users can equip a few interactive prompts that are honestly a delight. Throwing tomatoes, taking a selfie, painting in midair are such cool features. Finally, for the social side of things, getting into a room is stress-free with a simple code-based system, even if a friends list would be greatly appreciated. The customizability aspect is very expansive. You got over a dozen environments to choose from? And most of them aren't even reskins. They got stuff like a drive-in theater, a dinky theater, a luxurious theater. They have tons of options. And all of them feel different in some distinctive way. So those are what I would argue are the four main pillars of Bigscreen: rental movie/TV channels, visual fidelity, remote connections, and social/customizability features. But I just scratched the surface on what this application can offer either a new, confused VR user or a seasoned pro. It has features to satisfy both spectrums of the market. Now, a fifth bonus pillar is the continuous substantial updates Bigscreen regularly receives. A game like this would die without support, and I am very grateful that the team behind this transformative app opted to put in as much time as they did into it. As I said before, Bigscreen is more than the sum of its parts, and truly the ultimate virtual theater.